Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me, he wrote down half of the internet, Mr. Joel Young.
I did it, guys.
Yep.
I successfully was able to stop us from streaming now. We are having a lot of technical difficulties,
Not
but
on
this
our
is
end.
one that is out of our control.
Yeah, not on our end.
This is not
So,
on our end. People would
so
think this was us, but no, it is not.
yeah. So thanks a lot, Solution.
Good choice. Good choice.
So our multi-streamer is down,
Yeah.
and we unfortunately are not able to stream this one on YouTube and Twitch. However, this one will be uploaded to YouTube, and we are live on Facebook. So yeah, we are here.
Hey,
Joel?
Facebook ain't down, so this is good.
Yep.
Good job, Meta.
Yeah, there you go. Joel, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing really good, man. I can't complain too much. Nothing too crazy to update on my end here. I know it's coming out tomorrow technically, but I'll be seeing it on Sunday. The Rogue One re-release in theaters. That's just really a nice opportunity to see a really good movie. First of all, on IMAX.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you get the nice little Andor special sneak peek coming. So by next episode, I'll be able to go more in depth and talk about that a little bit more. I look forward to it for sure. And then I know that also the Spider-Man No Way Home More Fun Edition tickets went on sale. I have not locked that in yet, but I will be going out. It's like 11 minutes of extra footage. You know what, with the type of subscription plan that I have, I'll definitely be utilizing that to watch that movie again. But Obed, I mean, just on this is separate from our topics in general. I don't know if you saw, Obed, but Moviepass is making a comeback right now.
Yeah, because we talked about it a couple of months ago, right? I think it was,
Yeah,
well, I want to say like 3-4 months ago that
right.
I texted you, I think, the news. Yeah. So
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
official for sure.
So now it's official-ish. They right now are rolling out a beta first.
Okay.
And because I was already, which anyone can do this, but because I was already a part of MoviePass before, obviously I canceled before the whole thing went under at the time. But they offering the opportunity for people to join a wait list to actually join the beta program
Okay.
first. I think the beta program is going to be free, to my understanding. So it's I mean, if people, I would recommend people sign up just to be safe, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
But really, they'll be using Web3 technology to basically kind of give you credits. I think this sounds like Star Wars, your credits. But you'll use your credits to be able to make your reservations for movies. And depending on how many credits, depends on what kind of movie you can see and what format, etc. It's not been fully given in detail yet what that's going to look like, but that's just the early information. They have it in price tiers of like $10, $20, $30, $40, something like that monthly. So $10 is what obviously was the most popular one. So I'm sure that's going to be the one a lot of people sign up for. And really, you could say, well, I got these credits, but I want to see more movies. The way that they're able to monetize it and actually make a profit and not lose money like they did before is the way you can get credits is by watching ads. So you have to watch ads in the platform, and then you're awarded with credits that you can use to watch movies. It's not free because you're paying for a subscription, but you are getting an opportunity to have as much. So really, if you watch a whole bunch of ads, hey, we're gonna go watch a movie, guys, because you got that on your thing. And people say, well, I could just have my ads running all day on my phone and walk away. No, sir. They actually are using technology that has retinal detection on it. So you'll be able to, they'll be able to detect if you're actually visually watching the ad or if you have it just running and it won't work. Sounds like an episode of Black Mirror, people were saying. So it's a little wild. But still, it's cool to see options. Good to see it come back. I was a Moviepass guys, so obviously switched over to AMC, and I think what AMC has is a really great product. But I've heard good things about Regal and Cinemark as well. Though Cinemark, I think they're filed for Chapter 11 recently. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it.
One of them, there was one of them that was there was a rumor that they're gonna, or that they went ahead and did,
I think AMC got saved by those Wall Street Bets guys on Reddit, so good for them. But I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was a little fascinating. But I did sign up for the wait list, so I'll tell you more information as it comes through. I'm sure many of you all that are listening may be signing up right now or will be signing up. It closes on Monday, so gotta get on it quick.
It was a Cineworld who owns Regal.
Okay.
Yep.
Regal. Wow.
So yeah, that's
That's
kind of crazy. Yeah, yeah, it's nuts. Um, quick Elden Ring update, I guess.
Give it.
Last update for you guys. I tied up my loose ends, meaning I beat the last two major bosses that I had, and I'm gonna keep exploring a little bit just for the environmental storytelling, but I'm pretty much done with the game, and I am ready to take a break. I am ready to just take a break from it. But yeah, I'll probably play for a few more hours here and there. Explore a few places that I went to briefly and either ran away because I didn't want to, have to deal with enemies uh, or places that I was under leveled at the time that I went to. So I want to do that, but yeah, man, watch that first episode for season 3 of The Boys, and they keep pushing it. They keep pushing the envelope, man. It's it's pretty freaking intense. So, yeah. So I started that. I'm gonna go back and then start watching the rest of it. But very crazy start to the season. It's bonkers. It's like,
Amazon, bro.
how can they get away with this?
It's Amazon, bro.
It's nuts, dude.
They got the money. They can do whatever they want.
Good. Yeah, it's again the Voice is one of those things that, I mean, if you can get over, of course, all of the, I guess, adult content and graphic violence in the show, I mean, the story is just phenomenal. So very good, very good. Joe, something that's out of our, I watched something that's usually out of our scope, but I wanted to watch it because it's something that I remember, and then going back and watching this documentary, it was nuts. And you probably heard about it. Is the Trainwreck Woodstock '99 documentary that's on Netflix?
I did hear about this. Yep.
It was bananas. So, yeah. Okay. So I remember Woodstock '99. Right, it was a big deal. Right back then, when it happened, I was 19 at the time, and I remember hearing about it from NTV and guys in college were talking about it. Right, it was a big freaking deal. And I remember watching it and like watching day one on NTV, and it's fun. And I thought about it, it's like, this looks like it's gonna be like insane. And it's like they wouldn't even pay me money to be there because it just looks absolutely crazy, right? I mean, first of all, I was it's like still living with my parents. I can't do whatever I want, right? It's one of those things, but it's like, it was so crazy that it was unattractive to me, and it's like,
it was too much.
I'm not, yeah. Not that I hate people. I mean, probably, but sure, it was. Just,
I know. Hope it's one of the nicest people you meet, guys.
But it looked bonkers right on TV, and it's like, oh man, this looks crazy. I bet that there's a bunch of crazy stuff going on that we're never gonna see. And this documentary is that crazy stuff that we never got to see. Incredible, Joe. I mean, it's intense. It is crazy, man. Yeah, I remember it, and I remember a couple of guys in college when we came back from summer break. It's like, hey guys, it's like, what's up? How was your summer? It's like, well, we survived Woodstock.
Wow.
So they actually went. And it's
they
like,
went.
Yeah, and I heard from him, and it's like, it was crazy, and we didn't take a shower for 3 days, and it was hot.
All right, I'm done.
And like the porta potties overflowed, and it was crazy, and that's all I heard, right? But then watch the documentary, dude.
No, bro, I'm done.
Dude.
That I hear you when you say unappealing. That's the nice way of saying no.
Wow, dude, it's like they were like endangering people like willingly. Like there was like no security. Um, I think that it was also a culmination of what started with Nirvana and ended with Britney Spears, right?
Mm-hmm.
That all the angst and anger and all this stuff that we youth of the 90s went through, right? It was it was the implosion of all of that. It was like all of that came in that moment and imploded, and that was the end of the 90s thing. Like that was the end of it. And that's when we had to embrace, you know, the death of music, which like I call it like the a lot of people say like when the plane went down and Buddy Holly and all
Yeah.
these guys died. They a lot of people say that was the day music died. To me, the day music died when "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears, the video came out, the music video. That was the day music died.
It was going down.
Because that was the the 90s was absolutely awesome, and then you have this trash music, and then it starts like selling millions of albums and stuff. So to me, that was it, and that was the culmination of all the angst that went through the 90s, and then we ended up with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Britney and all this stuff. Um, I'm watching it, right, and it's like, yeah, this is like all of that anger that we held through the 90s, and this is when like we were almost ready to go into the workforce, and you know all of this going on at the same time, and the economy was good, but at the same time there was like like boomers were still trying to like pummel down the new gen. It's not even like you guys have to like deal with the okay boomer now, right? That's like we had to deal with the boomers back then, and all of that like culminated at Woodstock '99, and that was the day that all of that imploded and ended. And well, that's the way I saw this documentary. I was like, yeah, all of that, and that's you know, ah, it was nuts, dude. Like you watch it, I was like, this is exactly how I picture it in my head. It was exactly what I thought it was, and it was an absolute disaster. And it's worth the watch for the historical value, but be warned, right? Be warned. Like
Yeah.
there's some stuff. There's some stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's nuts, man. Really good. Highly recommend it. So yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about it during the week, right? I knew it came out, but I heard 2 or 3 people talking. I was like, I'll go check it out. So I split it up and watched it during the week. So excellent.
Wow.
Very,
Wow.
very good.
I like a good documentary. I'm a documentary guy, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
interesting. Especially um things that like you happened,
yeah,
but you don't remember like all the details. And like this kind of takes all the stuff and throws it together, like from a video standpoint. And it's a time where at least like media was starting to like
yeah,
emerge to a place that things were recorded and documented, so you can see
yeah,
some of it mixed with the stories. I'm sure that's a fascinating tale, but
yeah.
yeah,
So
it's interesting, man.
it was one like a great point, right? That there's a lady in the documentary that she was 14 and she
Yeah,
went to Woodstock '99 at the time, and she was on the documentary and she was saying that like if it would have happened today, all you would have gotten was angry people on TikTok and Instagram, and that would have been the end of it. But back then, the only way that we could
yeah.
express our, distaste with something was by destroying it, and that's exactly what happened. And
Dangerous. That sounds
it was
dangerous.
brutal, dude.
Yeah,
Brutal, dangerous. Yeah, I mean, you go watch it.
yeah. I mean, that sounds
It
yeah
was
dangerous for
bonkers.
the physical person themselves and for everyone
No,
around. Wow.
absolutely, absolutely.
But it got some precursor to think to what was going on goes on in society as time goes on. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. It was very, very interesting. So, yeah. Um, so episode 2 of She Hulk came out. and
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was pretty good. Again, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it was better than the first. And the first one I thought was good. It was like 8 minutes shorter, I think, because the first one was like 38. This one was like exactly 30.
Yeah,
Felt short, but not in a bad way. I think it had again like that humor that I like. It had some of the things that they did here, like the family thing specifically when
yeah.
she's going. By the way, guys, we're getting into spoilers. If you're
Hmm.
listening or watching about She-Hulk episode 2, but like the whole situation where she lost her job, so then she goes back to be at the family dinner that they invited her to, and like Chad, like what a great portrayal, bro. He does the
Yeah.
opposite of what they tell him to do. Got his job promotion at Best Buy as a manager that he's bragging about, which no shame on people who work as Best Buy managers. In fact, if you want to hook me up, but
There you go.
but it was just one of those, like the personality was absolutely hilarious. And and I think I love the dynamic still between her and Bruce. Like you get to the Blonsky stuff, which clearly is a sham. Like she saw right through him that something bigger is going on, is namaste and whatever things
Hmm.
going on. Like, but the small detail, Obed, of like the fact that she's like, I have a conflict of interest here with Bruce, which is making canon what happened in the other movie, even though they make the joke that's not the same Hulk, but it is.
Yeah.
But
So that's the thing, right? Because
yeah,
they did the joke, and it was freaking hilarious because I
it's
actually
hilarious.
laughed like
Same.
out loud. I was like, "Oh yeah, it was so long ago." I'm a different person,
Literally.
literally. And it's like, nah. But
Yeah.
they actually like the events of the movie are canon,
Are real. Yep.
like are because that was almost like up for debate that it was
Yeah, it
like
was like an unspoken
it
thing.
was an unspoken, yeah, yeah,
Like, is
exactly. So
it?
that's like it was assumed, right? But it wasn't like specifically referred to as Iron Man would refer to his previous movies, or Cap would, right? Um, but then the chain of events are canon, but uh, but Bruce is like not. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really good. Yeah, it's the way
100%.
they did it was excellent. Yeah.
100%. Like that was one of those things that stood out to me. And I love that fourth wall break. But like I'm just saying the small detail of having the fact that she's like, before I take up this case, I need to talk to Bruce and tell him to get his blessing before. Like, you know how many shows would have not done that? Like they would have just been like, oh, whatever. And then fans would have said, like, okay, this is like, how could she just take up this case knowing, how personal that this man literally tried to murder her? I mean, you watch that movie, it's way more violent than the Disney portrayal of Hulk.
Yeah.
Disney Hulk is, oh, I smash things and whatever. That Hulk in that movie was hardcore. He was busting spines on backs and whatever.
Oh
But
yeah.
but when you think about it, like just having that one brief moment, it did two things. One, it made more sense to the general overall story of why she's able to do what she does. Like she's in a situation where she kind of has to, because she doesn't have any job. She can't get a job. So it's like she's forced to do this thing. And then two, she has this guy's blessings to do it. And then in that same sequence, you get the reveal of he's like, well, I ain't going to be in LA anytime soon because I'm on this ship blasting off. You took so much in just one moment, answered tons of questions. I'm like, I wish shows would have like the story behind this was so strong, and so straight to the point. And I feel like sometimes I was telling someone else this. I feel like a show like this, if it would have been done by another place, maybe like CW or Netflix or something else like that, they would have packed it in to make it intentionally an hour. And when you have more time, they fill it with more dumb stuff that's like, we don't need this. Like, what, it doesn't further the story. It doesn't, they have to give side characters an adventure or something. But just
Hmm.
sticking it to a She-Hulk story, but taking its foundation another step, another pillar, was really good. So I mean, Obed, I think you've probably seen it too. Some of the very strange criticism. Some criticism I think is fair, by certain
I
things,
saw
right? The whole,
so the one that I watched, and
yeah,
it was the Angry Joe one,
yeah,
right?
yeah, which was actually pretty good.
Which I totally agree with him, right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was the perfect
Yeah, that
response,
was a good
right?
one.
I was like, if you want to come here and take a dump of my content, don't watch it. watch
Yeah,
something. Go watch one of these incel, you know,
sure.
anti woke dudes out there. There's plenty, and they're making money off of it, like he's specified in his video. So
Sure.
yeah, so
But
I think like there's some criticism to be made, right? Um,
absolutely.
and not I don't think that She-Hulk necessarily is the problem. I think that the way that the way that Marvel's been going for the last, I want to say, 2 years is very comparable to what Star Wars was doing
I agree.
with Rey, right? And that's a problem. It's a problem. And I'm not saying, what I'm trying to say is that there should be a balance, right? Um Ultimately, right? I know that they want to branch out and do more mature stuff with their shows and whatnot. Ultimately, kids are going to be watching these shows. And the way I see it is like the whole George Lucas thing again, right? And it's like kids are going to watch this. Both, boys and girls would need to have the role models, but what you've been doing for the last couple of years is like pushing aside. Yeah, okay, you gave the boys like 10 years, now you're gonna give the girls 10 years. It's like, why not balance it, right? And I think that some things are off balance. There's a disturb there's a there the force needs to be rebalanced. And I don't like they couldn't do it in Star Wars. They try to do it again with like Obi-Wan and some Jedi Fallen Order, all other content, right? But Marvel, it feels like they're just pushing in that other direction. Like now there's like, I've talked to people that don't want Shuri to be the next Black Panther. Like straight up, it's like, I'm all about empowerment and equality and all this stuff, but like, boys need their heroes too, right? You're taking the boys superheroes and this like role model figures and taking them away and giving them to girls, but then the boys end up with like a bumbling moron, right? And it's a problem. So you gotta be able to balance it out. um I Yeah, there's criticism to be made, but at the same time, it's well written and it's pretty good. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know
yeah. I
what your
mean,
take is on it, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember kind of realizing with Phase 4 that there was going to definitely be a difference, compared to what we had seen before. And I remember being at that 2019 Comic Con, and like right afterwards, I want to say it was the Wrap, I think, that put out an article, and their headline was, Marvel's next phase superpowers is diversity. Their next superpower is diversity, because that really is how they preached it at during that panel, and you
Well,
can kind of see that was how they were laying it out. There
they
was
were
a
trying to
lot of
push
specific.
Eternals, right? And then that
Well,
was
there
a
was
big dud.
Eternals. There was some stuff said about Thor: Love and Thunder. There was a couple, you have obviously the Black Widow solo film, and there was. I mean, it's a very generic. I'm saying in a very generic way, but and I think you to your point, like, it's last 2 years. That was Phase 4, right? Was the last 2 years. So you kind of saw some of that coming. And I think there's more stuff that could be on the horizon as well. And I am curious. I feel like the only reason they can do this stuff now, and I don't mean this in a necessarily a bad way, it's just more of an observation. It's like they can do this now because, just like how Star Wars, they kind of expect people to watch it because they already have an existing fan base.
Yeah.
So it's like, just because you plaster Star Wars on something, it could be whatever. It could be about Jar Jar's,
Second cousin.
daughter or something, and like we're gonna still watch it because it says Star Wars. We can make fun of it, whatever, but because you plaster that name on it. And Marvel Studios has become something like that too, where whether people are excited or not, just because it says it, people are gonna watch it because they have now built an existing foundation.
Yeah.
But I do think that when you watch a show like She-Hulk, so far we're only 2 episodes in, so I'm not gonna say much.
No,
but
we can't judge the entire product.
Can't judge the whole product. But what we're seeing so far
totally
is like something that's definitely not perfect. But some of the outrage that I'm seeing on this reminds me of some of the stuff we saw with some other shows where it's like people have good points. I think like it's not that their points are invalid, but people act like the balance of the universe like is at stake. And it's like, oh my gosh. Like,
it's a TV show. Get over it.
Listen.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Because you have the She-Hulk, which by the way is not a new character. It's been an existing character for many years. So they didn't just all of a sudden, MCU it, as some people like to say. Like this literally is a character they didn't just, throw this down your throat. In fact, they've been holding back having a character like this. So I think some of the arguments from that standpoint is a little weird. But when you start saying things about what you do in the message of the content, I think that's where sometimes I get a little bit weary, where I'm saying like it's good to have the point of what these characters stand for, but sometimes it overtakes the value of what the actual movie is.
Yeah.
And that's where you still want to keep quality. Like you don't want it to become, as I've said before to you, like something that's super preachy. I go to Marvel to escape the real world, not to go to it to use it as almost a reflection of me.
Absolutely. I think I don't have a problem. Like there's more important things to worry about, right? This is completely trivial. I think the and I don't want to say that the problem that I have, right? Because it's not a problem. But the criticism that I have is that these new characters are being introduced while legacy characters are being phased out, right? And that's where like I feel like there's a little bit of a unbalance in the entirety of it. So it's not a problem. Like why would someone be actually angry about this stuff? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think you have a point there. Like you don't want to like do it at the expense of the legacy characters. I think that's like the same thing we've said with Star Wars too. So I think you've got a very good point there as well. And I would say that with like for me, this is Joel Young speaking here. I don't care if the next phase 5, I really like, I can honestly God says, I don't care if the next phase 5, all the lead characters are females. I know that's not going to be the case, but I really don't care. What I care about is it, what is it about? What is it doing? If it's really good, then it's really good. If it's all males, like, and they had literally no females leads, I don't care either if it's good. If it's bad, I don't care. Like the one recent male-led thing that they put out, I didn't like was Thor. Like they gave us Thor, and it's like he's such a bro, and they overdo the joke so much it became a joke. And that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to be careful. That's like, oh, the one time you have a male lead, like recent thing, it's like he's the butt of everything. Like that's probably not the representation we want either, right? So I think there's a point of making sure you don't have to do it at the expense of somebody else. Like we can all succeed and do well together. We can have all these characters represented and just make them good. That's at least my stance on it. Now, you like if something is like you watch Miss Marvel for an example, like that's not an audience that's not made for someone like me. We've said that, right?
Yeah.
But if it's good, I'm going to watch it. And I did.
Totally, yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Some people are like, they're getting mad because they think it's, the moment that someone has a different physical biology, suddenly it's not for them. And I'm like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, because now, the Black Panther has a different genitalia. Like we're going to not want care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a little bit too weird. Like if it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. For me, at least, I don't care. I think some of the arguments for me is more so the messaging in it. When you have these characters, if you're pushing something that's like, for example, like if you did that with the male characters, I wouldn't like that either. Like if the male characters had to push some kind of message on, I just want it to be something that I can enjoy and escape to and just have a really good entertainment. And so far, yeah, She-Hulk not perfect. Definitely has some stuff that I've scratched my head, but I've been able to at least be entertained.
It's
And that's why I
enjoyable.
hope it continues on. People say by episode 4, it gets even better according to the critics that saw the first 4. I'm like, the first 2 is pretty good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's been solid.
yeah.
Like no issues. Like I find no problems with the show whatsoever. It's funny, well written, consistent. So far, it's been good.
Yeah.
Like I like a lot of the drama and all this stuff out there is completely overblown. It's like it's a 0 out of 10. Really, it's a 0 out of 10. It's
We've
just
seen bad. We've talked about
it's
it before.
yeah
We've
yeah.
seen the bad movies,
Like really,
the
honestly,
bad shows.
come on. Like is it Catwoman bad?
We've seen
Really,
them. We've seen them.
is it Jonah Hex bad? That
Right.
gotta
On
go
what
back, right?
scale?
It's like
Green
honestly,
Lantern?
like
Like,
yeah, even Green Lantern's not a 0 out of 10.
no,
It's
not
probably like a
zero.
3, but
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
it's
I agree.
but it's not even a Z. Like a
No, it's not.
0 out of 10. This has to
There's,
be like a real like trash movie. Like
yeah, I
even
mean,
Catwoman, I can find some
I
entertainment.
agree. I can find a couple things.
Like Mortal Kombat. Well, we're in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is quite possibly the worst pop culture big thing movie that has happened in the last 30 years. Um, it's I still find some entertaining aspects out of it. It's like it's so bad it's good. Like it's funny to watch. Like you watch it not because the movie is good, but because it's freaking hilarious and how bad
Yeah.
it is. It's as a movie, it's a 2. It's down like scraping the bottom, right? But
I mean,
not
to our
as
points, like the people are overreacting a bit. They
it's
have a point to
it's
some of it.
ridiculous.
Like it may not be as strong, but they're saying a 0, a 1. Like,
Yeah, it's like these people that go to Metacritic and give the game a 0. It's like my frame rate went down to 40 in 2 sections. This is absolutely unplayable. A 0.
how could the
Really?
devs do this
Is
to
it
us?
is it back that is it as bad as Big Rigs or Right to Hell Retribution or all these things that are like like literally unplayable? Is it that bad? Or
They would.
did your frame rate go down 5, oh no, it went down from 60 FPS to like 58.5, gets a 0 out of 10. It's ridiculous.
These people
dude.
can stand the old days, bro, with that frame rate
Try me
arguments.
Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time was 20 FPS, dude. On the N64, 20
Doesn't make it a bad
FPS.
game.
And it's one of the best games of all time.
Exactly. Colin talks about this stuff all the time. I've heard him mention
Yeah.
with him where he's like, yo, like just because a game has the most best visual effects doesn't make it good or bad. Like
Yeah.
there's plenty of games that
There's
I
more
don't know.
to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes the same when it comes to Marvel and DC. All right, Joe, we'll be back to our what is now tradition. DC, what are you doing? So hang tight.
Be
Don't
right back.
nobody go nowhere. And we're back. Joel, it's now time for DC. What are you doing?
Oh man.
So tell us what's up in the world of the WBs this week.
Let's talk about Batgirl, where the mess started. So that's where we saw the unraveling start there. But yeah, with Batgirl, interesting reports coming out from the actual filmmakers saying about when they found out about it. You know, one of the filmmakers was indeed at a wedding, their personal wedding, and they found out about this movie being canceled and not being released, period, at all. And then when they came back to the Warner Brothers studios, they tried to pull their footage off the servers only to find out that footage was nowhere to be found. Now, you know, clearly people would assume, oh, that means it's just deleted, it's gone. No, it's locked up in the vault. And reports have come out since then saying that they are planning to have the filmmakers and the crew invite them to a special Batgirl funeral filming where they will watch it one last time together, and then it will be locked away forever and ever until one day some person decides out of the chair.
Oh, someone's gonna plug in like a Blu-ray recorder to that thing. You know that's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. The Warner security. I don't know, bro. But I know. I mean,
do you expect any security at this point?
I know, right? I know. It's bad. They cut them too. But I feel like so that's the other half of it then, Obed. So then we get reports that both Shazam and Shazam 2 has been moved from Christmas to now March of 2023. And then you have Aquaman moving from its March of 2023 to Christmas of 2023. That is a long time. Now, what's even more interesting is allegedly, we don't know this for sure, but allegedly, the reason being, and Black Adam's the only one coming out, Warner only has enough money set aside for 2 more films to be released, and they're only letting that be the Harry Styles movie, and that's coming out. That I think it's like Don't Worry, Darling, or something like that. Forgive me, I can't remember the name. But then there's also the Black Adam movie. Those are the 2 Warner Brother movies that they are saying they can put out this year. They have budget for I guess a marketing, and then the rest of it is capiche. No more movies for them for the rest of the year.
Dude?
This is allegations. Again, I don't know this to be factual. But this is what we're seeing is just 2 movies. Now, this lines up to me with what Zaslav has been accused of from what we heard from Comic-Con, where they literally, a comic book convention didn't have a DC Comics booth at all. Like, it lines up with the whole point of them really cutting back and cutting costs, where he wants to have $1 billion in liquid cash. It's like the guy's trying to protect for a recession, but he's causing one as he's doing it, because people are losing their jobs, layoffs that we heard at HBO we talked about last week. So it's kind of wild there.
I'm going to make a controversial, I guess.
Brace yourselves, guys.
Point here. What if Bob Paycheck comes in and just... Bro... it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me that the Bob cuts a check and it's like, you know what? Let's go ahead and merge all this together. Now Disney owns everything.
Infinity Gauntlet.
No, Disney owns DC, and we're gonna have DC versus Marvel.
You have to do that right away. That crossover.
Like, honestly, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and the
it sounds like, I don't know, like, was Warner in such a bad shape? Like, I don't think AT&T's wasn't bad. Like, when the acquisition happened, they were in such a bad shape, right?
They probably weren't in terrible shape. I agree. They probably weren't like falling apart, but they definitely weren't succeeding. And I think that's been like their main preaching point, is that they're like, we want to take Warner back to what it was in the past. And their specific statements are like, we want event films. Like, we don't want to just put a movie up. We want movies that are literally events. And you think about these superhero movies that they've been putting out, they should be events. And really, most of them haven't. They've been names. We know about them when they come out.
Yep.
But they, like Shazam 2, I don't expect that to be an event film.
Oh, no,
like,
no, no, not at all. Not at all.
But it really should be in theory. Like, in theory, they should have taken that thing and said, like, the first one was really good. Let's blow this thing out of the water and make people absolutely psyched for this. But it feels like it's another movie. It's probably going to be good. That's what it looks like, at least. But it doesn't look like something that I'm going to go run out the way I would for, say, like Shang-Chi 2 is probably going to get me more excited than Shazam 2 because I have high expectations. The way that the end credits goes out and like, hey, we're gonna go into the wristband. I was like, okay, there's stuff there that gets me, and Marvel keeps raising their bars, but like, I think that there's a point to that. But yeah, only Black Adam and by the way, I actually pulled this here. I have it still in plastic here, but this is straight from Comic-Con, the Black Adam Den of Geek cover. But yeah, man, I definitely think they're gonna have some tough times ahead. Hopefully Black Adam's really good because allegedly it screened just as good as Batgirl, which ended up getting cut. And supposedly Batgirl screened as good as the movie It, the first one. So that came out recently. So we will see. That's an interesting update there. I think, was there one? Oh, yes. The other big
Matt Reeves got
update.
a contract.
That's the good news. Yeah, that's the good news.
Yeah.
That Matt Reeves is back for Batman 2. He's got a contract to make several years worth of content exclusively with Warner. There's some light in the darkness.
Yeah. Well, that's it's weird. Like I do. Yeah, I think what's been going on at Warner, right? And this is, what happened when Harry Potter as a series ended is that Warner has not been able to have a series after that. And, that could only get you so far, right? And I think the last big hit they had was probably Dark Knight Rises. Well, Joker, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Very well.
I agree. Joker's probably the biggest.
Yeah. But before Joker, it was what? Dark Knight Rises, probably?
Yeah.
Because Batman v Superman didn't do as well.
Man of Steel didn't
do as well.
Wonder Woman did good.
Wonder Woman did good.
That did good.
Yeah. So.
But they need to get back to that peak.
Yeah. And I understand that they have to rework their quality. Totally, right? They messed it up big time. So.
But supposedly Henry Cavill, Obed, is in Black Adam. Supposedly he's in this. He's filmed something. So I do expect that. And then we have the news, obviously, of Ben Affleck's Batman being back. So we're not seeing the end of these guys around.
Yeah.
I feel like something could be cooking. I'm sure the creative teams are talking. But it may not be as much of a hard reset that we might be thinking.
Yeah.
I think Batgirl was just one of those things that just didn't fit the puzzle of where they were going.
Yeah.
Understandably. And maybe now this is an opportunity for them before they start putting out those other DC and start filming those. They can get their time together, but they can still bring back all those characters and do well. Probably recasting Flash. I think that's a given. I think we all know that's pretty much a done deal at this point. I don't think that the individual will ever work for Warner again. I mean, literally costing them money and people a lot of situations. But yeah, I mean, maybe Obed, July next year, Comic-Con, they decide to say, here's a DC Films phase 1, like seriously, like just setting out a board. It's like, here we are. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, that's what they need to do, right? They need a roadmap, and that's
announce
what
a
they
new
never
president,
had.
a new DC Films head, and all this.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, now that you bring it up, right? The Aquaman delay could be due to reshoots because they gotta insert Batman in there and they gotta work it out. So
and taking out maybe Mira. Maybe they're taking that out and they're
Yeah,
switching
because
that
that's
around.
rumors
They
that
have,
she's gonna get cut out
I
too.
mean,
Yeah,
a whole more than a year moved away.
yeah.
That to me sounds like something that you could refactor in.
Like,
But
cause that
yeah,
movie,
man.
well, that was spring 2023. Got moved to end of
Yeah, it
year, right?
was right end of the year.
Okay.
Which, but I mean, that's still, it was supposed to be coming out this year technically as well, and it got moved to spring. So it's moved a lot of time. Just maybe the third or fourth move of that movie. But I mean, like when you think about Obed, like Walter Hamada should be out there the way Kevin Feige is. Like if he's the president of DC Films, like where is he? Like he's hiding. Like why is he not out there doing press the way Kevin Feige does? Why isn't he out there at Comic-Con like literally straight up talking to the fans and doing stuff? Where is Walter Hamada? I think he's hiding. And I mean
Um,
Ray Fisher called him out on his stuff, and it's not a good look. So hopefully whatever future they have, whoever's really in that captain's seat can really take that commanding response and interact with the community.
so there's an article on Deadline that was posted earlier today, uh, about Dan Lin, who's the producer for the Lego movies and
Nice.
the Sherlock Holmes movies, taking over DC.
Hopefully that's true
So
because they need leadership.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah, because if he can take, and Hamada can go,
Yeah.
and then he can just take over. So yeah, we'll see. All right, Joe. Uh, Stuck PlayStation. You want to do the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Let's do it.
Okay. The good. We have a new DualSense Pro. No, not really. DualSense Edge. And Joe's going old school over there. Is that a DualShock 3?
Yep.
Oh man.
There it is. Plugged
Dual-
in, my friend.
He's got the PS5 Pro controller. Look at that. DualShock 3. Wow.
OG. Still got it.
So the DualSense Edge, no price announced yet, but they did show that it has adjustable triggers, swappable thumbsticks, and a more sturdy construction, kind of like what the Xbox Elite controller is. Looks very nice. Looks very nice, Joel. Not gonna lie. This is something that I may be interested in for sure. And yeah, looks cool. Something heftier. Of course, it has the programmable triggers in the back as well. So yeah, not much to say. We're just waiting for pricing, and yeah, the controller itself looks very nice.
This thing's gonna be $100, bro. This is probably more.
I'd say 120.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But this is not just another controller, guys. Like this is the one to rule them all. This is the one that you buy for those the Elden Rings that you're playing, and the ones that you're playing that it's like you're spending hours trying over and over and just having the grips just a little bit adjusted, and having
Apex
these
Legends.
runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is the ones where you're getting in the trenches with it. And so we're glad to see them enter this market.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years now of PS5, so it's time for sure. I hope that when they do put this out, that they're able to put it out in more than just the one color that they have it in. That would be a really cool like twist, that they would say, hey, get it just like in these other ones too, because then it kind of encourages people, don't just buy another DualSense, go buy like the next cool one. But I also can see them bundling this Obit probably around the holidays too. Would you think maybe there'll be some kind of deal like, hey, you buy a console and you buy this with a headset or something, like, or whatever, like Best Buy or something doing that?
I don't think so.
I'm not saying necessarily as a reduced price. I'm just saying moving them
like a bundle. Yeah. I think, well, and we'll we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about price in a second.
We'll talk right in a second.
Yeah.
I think it's um, it's probably going to be sold as like a separate premium option. Completely like what the Xbox is, the uh, the Elite. They don't really bundle it. You have to like buy it as a premium device. So um, I'm looking at the Scuff right now. The Scuff Reflex Pro for PS5 starts at $219.99. So I can see I can see that controller going up to like 140. How much is the Elite right now?
I don't know, but this that's the comparable one, so the price could be
Yeah.
nearly the same.
Let's see. The Elite right now at GameStop is 180.
Wow.
Yep. So I can see it go up into 150.
I
Now
was thinking, yep.
that said, the Elite includes the thumbsticks that you can replace for the ones that you can it already comes with the accessories
Right.
with the thumbsticks. The the DualSense Edge does not. You have to buy the thumbstick separate. It does come with a case and a braided cable, but not the thumbsticks. So that's something that you'd have to purchase separate. Maybe they're doing that to keep price down. And then giving you the option. Maybe it's possible that they did a study. A study is like, oh yeah, I bought up an Xbox Elite, and I never changed my thumbsticks. I just kept the same ones. And maybe they did a study. It's like, oh well, we'll give them the option to change them, right? But let's not include it to keep costs down. That could be it, but I could see it. Based on the Xbox price, I can see it go up to 150. Very nice device, very 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 nice controller. It looks very cool. So I guess we'll wait and see on that. Depending on the pricing, if it's not too outrageous, I may just fork in for one because it looks nice. It looks really cool. I always wanted like a PS4 Pro thing, and it never like a controller, and I didn't like the Scuff ones, so this may be something that I want to look into. So yeah, good stuff there.
That's good. It's good.
Um, let's do the bad. Probably not bad, right? Uh, there is a
Bad for some people.
well, yeah, because you know that the same people that are after She-Hulk are gonna be after this, right? um, there is a Horizon Zero Dawn show in the works over at Netflix. We talked about it briefly before when this was first announced, but now Steve Blackman, who is behind Umbrella Academy, is going to be running the show. And then today we get the announcement that Umbrella Academy is ending. They're having a final season coming up. And then I guess he will be moving into this project. So I'm glad that it's a show because it's there's a lot of meat to cut here, and I think the story again on Horizon Zero Dawn was definitely better um than in Forbidden West. Forbidden West for some reason, I think the story fell apart a little bit, but Zero Dawn was excellent, and I think that this is a really good story to tell with plenty of twists, likable characters, and um, yeah, just overall really a really good setting for it. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think from the first game alone, like I was kind of expecting it. Like I've said, you know, going to play it. I'm clear about this, right? Before I kept commenting on the actual content, but I think it was very clear that this was going to be a very cinematic game and an adventure, and so hopefully, just from that premise alone, they're able to make something that's super fun. Sounds like they've got some good people involved from the creative for the adaptation side, so no concerns from me on that. I do start to get a little weary when you're not really sure, like when it comes to Netflix, what you're going to get. Personally, um it is one of those things that I don't have the best I don't have the best feelings about most of the stuff that comes out on Netflix. Let's just be real. Like The Gray Man is like one of their most like top one of their more recent ones. Like I watched it. I'm like, this is not like an amazing movie. Like it's watchable, but like it's not. So I think expectations need to be tempered. Um, 50-50 on that side of it. Right now, I think you just telling me in general, live action adaptation, thumbs up. But when you tell me where it is, that's where I do get like, unfortunately, like you were just talking about The Boys for an example, right? Like Amazon, dude. I'm not saying they can do no wrong, but I'm just saying like they're putting out stuff, bro, and they're going for it. Will it work? Will it not? That all depends on the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But they're going for it, bro. Like when you talk about, what was it like people were making fun of like the Terminal List or whatever. I'm like, listen, that show may not be for me, but I've watched even like one episode or whatever of this, and I was like, I could see where this would appeal to a lot of people. And like critics gave it whatever responsible. A lot of people are loving it. I think some people feel that way about, like The Boys and some of the other animated stuff that they've done, Invincible and all this stuff. But then, like you see what they're going to do with Lord of the Rings, for example, coming out here. And the reviews that just came out the other day
I
from
was
people who
gonna tell
watched
you.
that are saying it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I didn't expect anything less than that. I'm not saying Amazon's perfect. I'm not saying anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But if you would have told me this show coming out on there, I would have instantly felt like even a higher level of credentials. But because it's Netflix, I'm like, maybe Stranger Things is like the best you're gonna get. I don't think Umbrella Academy, this last one, was really that good. To be honest with you, I heard a lot of people really taking a dump on it at Comic-Con. Not word of mouth was not very good. People were saying like it's gone so far away from the source material that it's just kind of like the name of the characters, and then it's just a show, so you just watch it as entertainment. I'm personally not a big Umbrella Academy comic book person, so I can't comment on that anyways. But my point being is like, I hope that they don't take something that Horizon that sounds really cool and then they just go, hey, throw it in the mixer and get something out. But yeah, like Amazon doing like God of War, for an example, like you got me in because it's Amazon, bro, and they have tons of money and they ain't gonna go cheap on it. And you see what they're doing with shows like The Boys, and you're seeing what they're doing with these other things, and you're saying, okay, they can do this. Yeah. But Netflix, man, I don't know, 50-50. Could be good, could be not be.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see when the time comes. And the ugly. PS5 prices are going up for the console. Basically every region except the US, going up around $50. And it's very interesting. We didn't talk about it, but I know that Oculus went up, I think, $100.
Oh, right? Yeah, you're right.
Oculus went up $100, and everyone was saying, it was like, oh, it's like, this is like the first time that something like this has happened, and basically the device that's already a couple years old, and it's going up in price instead of going down. Instead of getting a price cut, you're basically getting a price increase. And yeah, it looks like PlayStation's right behind them. They are saying that although their supply parts are getting better, the cost of those parts are up, and inflation worldwide is a problem. We've talked about it, that this is a global problem. It's just not the U.S.
Yeah, exactly. The world is going through
it's great. Americans think like they're very self-centered, and they think that, oh, this is only happening here because this dude said,
yes.
No, this is happening everywhere.
Gas prices are rising because American companies are greedy. It's the world,
it's
guys.
The world,
there's a lot of factors involved here.
Exactly. So
wars,
this is
all kinds
everywhere.
of things.
Yeah. So that's basically what they're saying. It's like current trends and all that, and they are basically, going up, and it's around $50. I don't think this is going to make a big dent. Xbox came out today and said that they had no plans. They can
good
probably,
timing,
but they can probably eat the hit, right? Because
they need that.
One, they need it, right? And there's always, like, we've all known that they lost money with the original Xbox, like that. Like they sold that thing at a loss, and it's well documented. that they didn't make any money out of the first Xbox. So, um, Microsoft can't take the hit. That's fine, whatever. Sony, if they deem the prices, the prices for the system need to go up, then it'll go up. Nintendo said that they actually said it a couple weeks ago that they had no plans to increase the price on the Switch. But at the same time, the Switch's been out since 2017. The price actually got a price increase. You just didn't see it, right? Because you got a model that's $50 more, and it's essentially the same thing. It's just a better screen and more memory, but in essence, it's still the same device. Um, it's when you paint it like that, right? You see that there was a $50 price increase. It's just that they're keeping their old model at the same price. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know if there's how salty people are gonna get. I know that people are still like looking for PlayStations.
Yeah.
Was it this morning or yesterday afternoon that Sony opened up stock on their site, and it was actually open for a while.
Yes.
Like people were getting
Yes.
in and grabbing stuff.
I
So
got a text the heads up about it. Like, hey, they're on sale right now. Like, thankfully, I have one, but
yeah,
yeah.
and it was up for a while. So I'm sure that later this year, for Christmas, especially now that they um the parts problem, like again, and this pricing stuff, it doesn't affect us, right? But we'll see. Like again, peripherals like that DualSense Edge, they're probably gonna add more money to that because of production costs. So, um, yeah, we'll see how this affects the rest of the world. Um, I did see a lot of people in Europe were salty about it. So it's a wait and see on how it goes around the world. But this does not affect the U.S. I think they were very cautious and wise in that decision because they know that that how vocal the U.S. fan base is, and
Yeah.
they could probably get away with it in Japan, and they probably won't care. But yeah, when they do it like in the U.S., it's like nonstop Twitter storm. You know how it goes. So, but yeah, I mean, do you think this is gonna put a dent? They're gonna still ball in, or
I
what do you
mean,
think?
but that is a part of like a little bit of the theory to me. Is the theory like let's raise the prices so we can slow down how many people are buying this thing like crazy and give other people a chance. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds a little far fetched, but something I could see being a possibility. And the other, yes, just in general, like you're saying, the world economic status, like there's an understanding of raising prices at the same extent. Obed, like they are doing really good. Like Sony's doing really good when it comes to their PlayStations, the PlayStation sales. They're not struggling at all. So raising the price on it almost gives a look like from a PR standpoint of like, hey, we can raise these prices and people are still going to buy it anyways. So like we do it just because we can. It can come across that way. I'm not saying that is what it is, but that is a little bit of a PR sense I could see from some people. And like you said, them not doing it in the United States, people could be like, "Oh, fine, we're good, whatever, don't care." But like, I think of like the little Billies around the world, that extra $50 is a huge difference. And that's a huge effect on people. And I'm not saying Americans can afford it by any means. The whole world's going through stuff. But it is sad when you think about it, and that's what we talk about from that terrible standpoint. Um, I do think like to your point, it was wise, like Microsoft's timing, like, yo, we're not raising ours, right? But at the same extent, oh, but if they raise their prices, do you think demand's gonna go up? There still are plenty of
Yeah,
Xboxes in stock, like
yeah, Series S,
so
yeah.
Series S, you can buy it. So I think for plays, it doesn't matter if it's a digital or if it's the disc version, like the demand's so high that they do this and people are still gonna keep buying it.
Yeah, I don't think I think that the days of console price cuts are over. We saw it last gen, where
Yeah,
the only time that there was a price cut was when the PS4 Pro came out, and the regular PS4 went down to $299, and then the Pro took over that spot. That could be the scenario that could happen, right? That there's
I
a
agree.
mid-gen refresh, and there's a PS5 Pro in next year or 2024, and then the price for this one goes down $100, 150, right? And then the that new product will take the flagship price point. So yeah, we'll wait and see, but pretty interesting stuff. What's going on here? So
For sure, for
yep,
sure.
that's what we got, sir. If you want to go ahead and plug us in, thanks again, or no thanks to our stream distributor, but hopefully they'll be back up and working next week. But
Absolutely. I got faith we'll be back at it, guys. We
yeah,
won't give up. But thank you all so much for sticking with us, everybody. We want to encourage you to stay connected, stay subscribed. That's the way of supporting our show. We don't make money from this right now. We're doing this out of our own heart and passion and sweat and tears and everything going into it. So the one way you can help us without even spending money is just clicking that subscribe button. So doing that on YouTube, doing that on Spotify, doing that on SoundCloud, Amazon Music, on podcast platforms of your choice, and hitting that subscribe button. That helps us without you even having to do anything too crazy. Also, writing a review about No Load Time on any of those platforms really helps us out. Dropping us comments, sharing these episodes with your friends and family would be super awesome and appreciated. We also would welcome you to follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. Places like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can follow us at No Load Time there. We also would invite you to follow us on our Twitch account. We'll be back streaming live on there once we get all this figured out with our accounts here, with our multi-stream. But on our Twitch account, we go live. So make sure that you are following us. Twitch, No Load Time all together on Twitch. So No Load Time all together on Twitch. You can follow us there. And then last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to being with you on our next episode.
thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.